Hi there, Natalie with you today with a new process video to show you how you can create a floral memory keeping layout using the new Build a Flower Blushing Magnolias. So come join me. Hi there and welcome to a new episode of Inspired by a Card with Natalie. Today we're going to be working with the new Blushing Magnolias. This is the Build a Garden Blushing Magnolias, one of the subscriptions for this month, and this is beautiful. You get a stamp set and a stencil, and there's actually an add-on die that you can use to separate your images. So the inspiration for this week actually comes from Kristen Slugen, and I loved her card. So I thought it was a great idea for a memory keeping layout, especially because the branches are gonna lend to create kind of a scene on my page. So I'm gonna start by using my stamp wheel, and I'm using black Obsidian ink to create the images. So I'm gonna stamp one of the large images, the one that has the branches with the magnolias, and then I'm gonna stamp two of the images that have the leaves, and then just one of the magnolia, I'm going to say the tip of the branch. So once I have everything stamped, I'm going to start coloring. So you're going to see that I'm just going to finish that. And then I'm going to use my stamp wheel to actually help me with the coloring of these flowers. And for that, I'm actually going to bring the stencil that comes in this set. And I'm going to show you one, but then I did the rest along the way. So for the base of my petals, I am using blush. I'm using fresh dye inks. This is blush, and actually the stencil is super easy to use. If you follow the instructions in the pamphlet, it's gonna take you no time. So the way I color my flowers is I'm using blush to color the entire petal, and then I'm gonna come in with a little bit of coral berry. Again, this is one of the fresh new dye inks, just to accent, I'm gonna say, the bottom of the petal. So I'm just trying to give it a little bit of dimension this way. Like I said, I'm gonna repeat this for all my petals. And then when you look at a magnolia tree, and actually we have quite a few around my neighborhood, there's the little buds tend to be really green. So I'm gonna use olive. This is one of also the new fresh dye inks. This is from the, I think it's Deco Garden set. And then I'm going to use that to color all the little buds. And I'm using my mini ink blending brushes for this. And then to create the branch, I'm actually going to use Espresso. This is one of my mini ink cubes. So I'm just gonna follow the steps of the pamphlet using my mini ink blending brushes, just to add the color. And I'm gonna repeat the same idea for all the four images that I have. So you're gonna see I'm gonna bring them in so I show you. For the leaves, actually I use a combination of frayed leaf, and I believe is, let me just make sure that I tell you the right name, because I want to make sure that you guys know what I'm using. I use frayed leaf and forest glaze and frayed leaf. So the same thing, just apply that one color and then accent it with a darker color. So now that I have my images ready, I'm going to start actually creating the background. And here's the hint of creating this layout, is using the single stamp set in 3 different ways. So the first one is creating my accents. So I actually stamp the images and color them. The second one, and I'm going to draw inspiration from Kristen's card, is creating my background. She actually stamped for her card. She used the larger image and she stamped it with black Obsidian ink. So I'm going to do the same thing. Now remember that I'm creating a 6x8 spread. So my page is 7 inches by 8.5. I don't want to overcrowd my page, even though you're going to see at the end it's kind of a little bit busy, just because I have pictures. So that's going to be part of my focal point. So my idea is to borrow from Christine and actually have that black and white background and have the flowers kind of pop from the page. But then I wanted to actually, because it's going to be rather busy on the part where the photos are, I want to actually kind of hide my lines of journal. So for this, I'm going to create a pocket. And this is when I'm going to use the same stamp set and just bring a little bit of difference. For this, I'm actually going to emboss. I'm going to heat emboss the same image. I am vellum for my background, and I'm going to use antique gold crisp embossing powder to actually create the image. So all you saw me do is I just added anti-static powder to my vellum, and I'm using my embossing ink. This is a clear embossing ink to just add the image. I'm going to make sure that I fill out my page without overcrowding it, and then I'm going to just add the powder. I'm going to make sure that, it attaches to every single one of the stamp images that I added, and then I'm going to use my heat gun to actually melt the powder, and that creates that texture, and it just makes the gold really shiny. So once I have that, I have pretty much all my pieces in place, and like I said, I want to use this embossed vellum paper that I created to create kind of an interactive pocket to hide my journaling, just because I think otherwise it's going to be super busy. So I'm going to bring a little bit of color onto the journaling part of it. I don't want it to be so white. So I pulled a piece of paper from my stash that was like that soft blushy tone. And then I'm going to trim my vellum to be 4 inches by 7 inches in height. So that's going to store my little pocket. And then the only thing I'm going to do is I create a little notch at the top of the pocket in this case. And then I'm going to round the corners of my journaling card is going to be 3 3/8 by around 6.5 inches, I believe, or 7 inches. And then all I did outside the camera is run some red tape, because I want something that's going to hold my pocket in place around the edges that don't have the notch in the back of the paper of the vellum. So once I have that in place, I'm just going to go ahead and place it on my background. Remember, I have like a blushy paper, and that just creates my pocket so I can easily pull in and out my journaling bit. Now, because I added some of the gold embossing on the right where my journaling is going to be, I need to bring some of that into the other side of the page. And I looked at Christine's card, and she actually had black splatters of ink. So I'm going to add antique gold ink spray, just a few splatters onto my black and white stamping, and I'm going to set it aside to dry while I work on the embellishment for this page. And like I said, my idea was to create kind of a branch of the magnolia tree coming into my page. So I wanted the parts that had the leaves to be right on the journaling. Remember, it's going to be a plain page over here. So I'm just going to place them. I added a little bit of foam adhesive, the thinnest one that I can add, just to create a little bit of movement on my little flowers. And then I am using the Blushing Magnolias. This is the Build a Garden Blushing Magnolias stamp set to create my title. Now I want to bring a little bit of those tones that I have in the flowers. So I'm adding 2 enamel hearts from the Tea Party enamel shapes. Once I have that, I'm just going to place it in the pocket and set it aside. Now, for the other side of the page, you're going to see that I'm going to bring that large branch that I created, kind of those branchy flowers, and just run it towards the bottom left corner, kind of moving from the left to the right so that it reads as a branch of the magnolia tree on my page. And I actually stuffed my pictures right on top of the branch, just so they sit there. And then I needed to create a title, so I went looking for something that will match these pictures, and I'm using the Joyful Greetings. This is one of the new releases. I'm just going to stamp it with black Obsidian ink, and then I just trimmed the little I'm going to say the sentiment, and then to just make it pop a little bit from all that, but that black and white and gold that I have, I'm going to use the same colors that I used to color the leaves. So you're going to see that I'm using a little bit of olive and a little bit of a coral berry, whatever was left over on my mini ink blending brushes, just to create kind of like shade the edges of the card. That's just going to make them stand out a little bit more when I put it on top of my journaling card in this case. So you're going to see that I'm just going to place it on top of the vellum. I'm going to add a little bit of that antique gold ink spray just to bring a little bit more of that pop of shine. And that's about it. I do love how this turned out. Like I said, it's a little bit on the busy side, but I love it. I love the look of it. I love the fact that I just only use one stamp to create this. It's just going with 3 different looks. Black and white stamping for the background. I have that embossing area just to hide and bring some attention to my journaling. And then I created my own die cuts just to bring the pop of color. And I hope you enjoy this. As always, you can check more details in the blog. And as always, don't forget to subscribe to the channel for more content. Take care, guys.
Hello hello there. Did that video just spark your creativity? And do you want more project ideas and inspiration videos too? Well, if you do, please make sure that you subscribe to the Altenew YouTube channel. Also, make sure that you do click that notification bell so you don't miss a video. Thanks so much for watching. Bye bye.